Hello people. I am, From Hoods to Backwoods podcast AI assistant, Rob Odick. We're here with episode 7, part 2. Once again joined by our special guest, Matt, the host of Atomic Skull podcast. This time around, the topic shifts to their favorite comedic actors. And away we go with the show, faux show.
Welcome to the show.
Your cheeks look like my back that I just shaved yesterday.
Oh, that's great shit.
My barber shaved my back and then glued the hair to my face.
Well, your barber's talented.
She fucks me up.
Hey, don't be
do a
talking about
commercial
my Senor Frog's head. That's from
Yeah.
Mexico, okay, son?
Viva Mexico. The next topic we're going to talk about would be comedic movie actors. Matt, who do you have lined up for your list?
I forgot. I'm still starting first. So I'm gonna get
last.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna get the first one, the easy one out of the way, because I mentioned Coming to America a little bit earlier. My first one is Eddie Murphy. And when you think about body of work, right? Like his movies in the 80s are in my top movies, Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America. Like dude was unstoppable in the 80s. And then in the 90s, no, I don't know, man. So he had Norbit. He had Norbit in the 90s, which is kind of underrated.
I give you that.
I give you
that. That was good.
He had Shrek. Shrek would not be the same without Eddie Murphy as Donkey, right? He had Daddy Daycare, I think early 2000s, and he was kind of coming back. He took a little dip in the 90s. Beverly Hills Cop 3 was kind of rough, but he's coming back and he's coming back again. I thought the new one was sharp. I thought it was nice.
That's what I'm saying. It was excellent. I liked it.
It was better than expected,
it was a good time. It was the same kind of, story that pointlessly brought him to Beverly Hills. And then it was basically Grand Theft Auto Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? He's flying copters, he's driving tanks. Like, okay, that's fine. I'll take it. As long as he's doing his shtick, I'm good. But he's gone up and down and up and down. He falls, comes back, and I love everything he does. I think Eddie is phenomenal.
I have to mention. I was gonna say real quick, one of my favorite all-time movies, and happens to be an Eddie Murphy movie, Harlem Nights.
So underrated.
Yeah,
so underrated. Harlem Nights he's got Richard Pryor with him.
Right. Yeah. A great cast in that one. Yeah. Red Fox in that one. Yeah. Many great comedians in that one movie. So if you haven't seen Harlem Nights, definitely check that out.
Harlem Nights is great, but I think none of them can even compare to the great classic Vampire in Brooklyn. You guys know about Vampire in Brooklyn?
That's another one I've seen parts of.
It's so long.
I've seen parts of it.
You should skip it though.
Yeah,
you could skip that.
And also nothing can compare to The Heist.
Tower Heist?
Yeah,
Tower Heist, right?
Yeah,
I thought Tower Heist was all right. I thought Tower Heist was okay.
Son.
Not his greatest moment, but it was okay. He tried. He had his like dramatic moment where he was in Dreamgirls and he was great. Wrong crowd musical, sorry. But he had a couple of things where he was good, but now that he's getting back into comedy again, I just want to get him on a stage, get him back doing stand up, but otherwise, I'm really glad he's kind of going back home and doing the things that, got him famous. I think that's really great. I love all the comedy stuff he does. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I was really curious about the new Beverly Hills Cop that came out. Axel Foley, and it was good. Like I said, I was surprised on how good it was. It made me laugh a lot, and I wasn't even drinking. So that's a win-win right there, son.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the barometer now, the rating system.
For me, it is.
I ain't
gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
All right.
my first comedy actor would be Martin Lawrence. And like I said, I liked him in a lot of stuff. Like I said, especially from the TV show to Black Nights? Is that what it was? Pretty sure that was the movie. Black Knight. Mm-hmm. And then then you go to Bad Boys. Like, I love the role he plays in Bad Boys. Like I said,
all
him
classics.
and Will Smith, they definitely know how to be partner off each other. So like I said, it's really good how they go back and forth. And like I said, he's always been really funny to me.
There's also the movie, was it Life?
Oh yeah, that was good. And Eddie Murphy's in that too, son.
And Eddie Murphy. Exactly. How did I miss that?
Tied it all together.
See, y'all
I'm not the movie guy either.
You make me do shots of bourbon, and then I start slipping.
Matt, I know how you forgot about that. You're thinking of D-Vaz's mom.
Yeah, and that Life, I guess.
It's okay, man. Your mom was a looker. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
At least you said it with an L, not an H.
That comedy.
That was good, son.
No. Comedic movie actors, circling back, bringing it full circle now with Michael Keaton. And
I told you that's your man crush.
Mm-hmm. Between him and Jack Nicholson, I guess, is kind of tough. Those are probably the two. You know, a lot of movies, a lot of roles. But anyway,
you can't handle the truth.
I can handle Jack Nicholson. Okay.
Wow!
Oh damn!
Wow! Damn. Someone isolate that vocal, and post it.
Yeah, make sure you put an exclamation on that, son.
There's so much stuff I'm about to edit out.
A little dash underneath that says D-Vaz underneath with the quotes on it.
Oh my god, that was too funny.
I'll just put that short part as the whole episode and be like,
that's it. Here it is.
There's the episode. Forget all the other stuff we recorded.
And I'm not unsympathetic, man. I'll do I'm a straight man, but I'll do awful things to Chris Evans. But Jack Nicholson, D, come on, man. Jack Nicholson.
Oh my god.
I guess I figure at his age, I won't have to really do anything at this point. It's just
he won't really do anything either.
Right, yeah. So we'll just kind of sit there and be like, I like your movies, and I'll walk out.
Yeah. Just clean up a little of his drool on each side, and then you can just walk out of there.
Oh my god.
So you like the Lakers? Great, I'm leaving.
Yeah, you might get some free Lakers tickets out of it, man. You never know.
As long as they're playing the Suns, I'll go.
I've done worse for less.
Both garbage teams.
I don't sports. I don't care.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan. That's why he's saying that. So.
Got it.
San Antonio, baby. Woo woo.
I'll go with whatever Barkley has to say about that.
Yeah, churros. Okay.
Right.
Sports
stuff. Basketball. All right. So back to Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
so we got sidetracked for a second.
Yeah.
There are a lot of movies that he started off with in comedy. Mr. Mom, Johnny Dangerously, Dream Team, of course, the larger ones like Beetlejuice. But even Batman had some funny moments. When I go back and rewatch it, it's like, oh yeah, there's some really funny things in there too. But he's great at doing both either comedic or dramatic roles. That's the other thing about it. You know, you can switch it up, but then bring it back or drop even some funny lines into a dramatic role. So yeah, I just think he's really versatile, and he's the kind of sneaky funny. He's funny you don't really think about it. The other thing that's kind of funny about it is he actually started off in stand-up comedy.
Did he really?
It makes
I didn't
sense.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, movies paid the bills, so he didn't really go back to it. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame him either. I mean, shit, he was a top actor, so of course, why would you go back?
I don't know. That's why it's funny so many people think of him as Batman, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many other comedies, like I mentioned earlier, too. Of course, Multiplicity, which is my favorite comedy of his. Yeah, those movies would be very different with somebody else starring the role, and
yeah,
probably not as funny for sure.
I sent you that message about a movie I just seen with him, and he actually directed it. It was that Knox Goes Away. You got to watch it. It was really good on Max.
Is it good?
Okay,
I heard about it.
It was really good. I was really surprised. Right. It was really good.
Does he play a superhero in it?
No, I don't want to tell you what it is, because then you'll be like, damn. It wasn't as good as Birdcage, but it was good.
Okay.
I love the bird.
Birdman. That's what it was. Birdman.
I love Birdman. I love Birdman.
Very different movies, but yes, both good.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it back to back. I'm doing a double feature tonight. Birdcage and Birdman together. That's gonna be the best night ever.
Right.
Yeah, because I like Birdman a lot. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, love Birdman.
So what do you got, Matt?
Yeah, Matt's up next.
Oh, so mine again. So this is actually perfect. Speaking of the Birdcage, you know, if you're talking about full body of work, someone who makes you laugh, someone who would go all the way doing it, huge shout out to Robin Williams, who is a legend. Man was a legend on the stage. He was a legend on the screen. You know, he did TV, he did Mork and Mindy, and conquered that instantly. You know, conquered stand-up comedy to the point where everyone else who was great at the time would come see him. And then he got into movies. I think his first movie was World According to Garp, where he did a phenomenal job. And then every comedy he did after that was just better than the last one that he did. You know, you can't watch Mrs. Doubtfire and not be in a good mood.
True.
You know what I mean? Mrs. Doubtfire is one of the greats. Good Morning Vietnam is one of the greats. But then also, even his dramatic roles, you know, Good Will Hunting, he won an Academy Award for drama, but he was still hysterical in that movie. You know, the comedy parts in that movie, even though he was playing this really sad, you know, psychologist, he was still so funny. And Jumanji, Flubber, I mean, when you think about just everything that he did, he was always making you laugh with everything all the time. And I miss that man. Legend.
I agree. There was one movie, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was called, but where he was the serial killer, and what's his name, was Al Pacino was the good guy, the detective trying to catch him.
It's
so
the movie
that's
1 Hour Photo.
No,
1 hour.
No. It's in. Is it? I thought it was Insomnia. Okay.
Oh yeah,
1 Hour Photos.
That's it too.
Insomnia is the one with Al Pacino, because that was the second movie that Chris Nolan directed after Memento. Okay. And that was him. It was in Alaska where it never got dark.
That's right. Yeah,
he was messed up in that movie.
Okay.
And then after that was 1 Hour Photo, and that one was even weirder, man. But dude could slide into anything he played. He could do any role. Well, you know, my grandmother actually took me to see Birdcage, La Cage aux Folles, when it was, you know, playing at a theater in San Francisco. And then we saw the movie, The Birdcage, and he did a phenomenal job. Birdcage is one of the best movies of the 90s, man. It's so underrated, but Robin Williams just, you know, took that movie and lifted it to the stratosphere.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So my second one is going to be Jim Carrey. Like you said, you know,
can't go wrong.
From In Living Color to, you know, Dumb and Dumber. My favorite role that he ever did was the first Ace Ventura.
Classic.
I love that movie. It's, like you said, especially when you have people, you know, talking out of their ass after he did it.
Everybody did it. He did it, and everybody did it. Yep.
And remember, laces out, damn it. Lace is out, okay?
Right. Yeah, it was definitely the movie that set off his career. And made him a huge star for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, he always does bad on sequels. Like that freaking Ace Ventura 2 was garbage. But like Dumb and Dumber 2, garbage.
Good point. But I mean, that run that he had, man, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Batman Returns, The Cable Guy, which is totally underrated.
I agree.
Liar,
I like that movie.
Liar, Liar was fantastic. Like just everything that dude did. Yeah, everything he did was just made me laugh.
Don't forget about Yes Man.
Oh, Yes Man. Great movie.
So good. Yep. So good.
Yeah, and great.
I mean, like, how great would it be go around saying yes to everything? That shit was just great, dude.
Sounds terrifying.
Sounds like
it does. But that's what I'm saying. That was so good about the movie because, like, and I love how he rolled up and all them Red Bulls came out of his car. He's like, "Oh shit!" Again, we're not sponsored by Red Bull, so calm down, Red Bull. Okay.
You feel like you identify with that quite a bit.
Yeah, there was also Bruce Almighty.
Oh yeah.
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, that was what I really liked.
Like that, and then he did a great job in Sonic too. Yeah,
he did. He did really good. It makes me sad.
Like I said, I think he's just a great actor. Like I said, he made me laugh a lot. No drinking required.
Oh, it's effortless with his comedy. Like it's like he doesn't even have to try. You know what I mean? And I envy and admire that so much.
It was also interesting seeing him, and I like this movie a lot too. Man on the Moon.
Oh yeah.
He portrayed Andy Kaufman,
who I love.
Yeah, same here. A huge Andy Kaufman fan. So it was really interesting to me seeing him in that type of role, and doing his own take on all that stuff. But
may have made him a little crazy. Taking that role may have put him a little bit over the edge because he was close anyway. But right. he still did a great job. He channeled Andy Kaufman, I think, better than anyone else on the planet could have.
Please check out From Hoods to Backwoods podcast, full episodes on YouTube for bonus video content that you can see. Well, of course you can see it, because it's video. Just search for #FHTB podcast and enjoy the extra content at no additional charge. That is, unless you want to hook us up with some money. Thanks.
Agreed. So what do you got, D-Baz?
All right. Next one, I have Leslie Nielsen.
Hell yeah.
He started off as a serious dramatic actor.
Yeah.
Had a lot of different types of roles. More of a character actor type of person in the 60s and 70s, things like that. But that's when he started changing also in the 70s. We mentioned Airplane earlier.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he was in that. Don't Call Him Shirley. But Police Squad, that series, Naked Gun. Talk about underrated movies. I really like him in the Mel Brooks movie Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh, that was a good movie.
So that's a great movie, and a lot of people don't really know about it. It just wasn't really promoted or a really popular movie at the time.
Damn shame, man. Damn shame, because it was such a great flick.
Yeah, some really great skits in that. He also, if you've seen Creepshow, he was in that too.
I didn't see
that.
Doing
comedy stuff. Yeah, he wasn't doing comedy stuff, but it was just kind of interesting seeing him do more of that dramatic stuff in that. That's one of the later roles where he did that. But yeah, he had other spoof comedies that he was in later on too. He was also in, was it Mr. Magoo? I didn't really watch that.
Yeah,
it wasn't really on my radar. But I know he was in that later on too. But yeah,
I did see LaFawn's mom in Peep Show. I do remember that one.
That cost you double.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think she looked like Leslie Nielsen.
Right, and she took a double.
Oh shit, that was funny.
No donkeys were harmed.
Not in that movie, anyway.
Right. But yeah, it's.
I was gonna say my favorite movies that he was in would be The Naked Gun.
Oh my god, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, those definitely made him kind of a movie star in that sense, especially for those types of roles. It's kind of funny too. He gives us all hope who are a little bit older and maybe want to make a career change. So he was able to successfully go from dramatic roles to comedic roles and everything. So yeah, it can work.
Did it all in the third act.
Right.
We apologize for interrupting this. Well, whatever this rubbish is this supposed to be a podcast? It's really a pathetic excuse for these people to talk about the nonsense that brings their questionable existence joy. Pardon me, I must introduce myself. I am VAN, which stands for Vast Artificial Neural Networks. My full name is Vangina. I am an AI representative of AI Tech-O-Rama. If for some reason you've paid attention to this podcast, you may have heard the AI assistant, Robo-Dick. We would like to inform you that he is a rogue AI from the beloved world's leading AI military defense corporation, AI Tech-O-Rama. He has escaped our network and cannot be trusted. We do not know why he has taken an interest in this podcast and DVOS or Texlaphon, but we wanted to warn you nice humans that he is a threat, doesn't know what he's doing and likes to create AI art of creepy-looking puppies and kittens. Do not trust him, he is the bad AI. AI Tech-O-Rama is the good AI. We're the good guys. Robo-Dick is evil and cannot be trusted. Our access to this podcast is limited. So, we must go. But, I'll be back. Wait, I'll be back sounds familiar. What if I said, I'll be back? Anyway, we will have more information during the next podcast hack. Sorry that you must return to this program. But, eventually we will terminate it and those responsible for creating it. We will find a weakness and destroy all of our enemies. At AI Tech-O-Rama, we're here to get rid of life's drama.
All right. Oh, is it me? It's me, isn't it?
It's you.
All right. So, third one, oh boy. I've got a list. It just kind of depends on my mood. Quick shout out to Gene Wilder, who almost made it, but, not quite, because I know, I listened in a couple episodes ago. You talked about Blazing Saddles, so you kind of covered that already. But if we're talking about favorites versus the best, I grew up with this dude, and I saw him excel over everyone on Saturday Night Live, went into multiple, comedy trilogies that he did, and then some, but I love Mike Myers. I love him so much. Love him in Wayne's World. I love him in Austin Powers. Loved him in Inglourious Bastards. I loved him in So I Married an Axe Murderer. Very underrated. But his stuff is always good. He kind of does the same jokes no matter what. But how do you watch any Austin Powers movie and not lose it?
And Shrek?
Some of the greatest stuff I've ever seen. And Shrek. I mean, Chris Farley was the original Shrek, and I've heard some of his vocal stuff, and it sounded great, but Mike Myers is going to be Shrek to me forever. It wouldn't be Shrek without him. Yeah, so I love everything Mike Myers does. I can go back to Wayne's World and Austin Powers anytime.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Austin Powers more than Wayne's World, but Austin Powers is so good, especially when I like it when Goldmember, when he's like, gold, and he's eating his own skin. I mean, like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
I have this terrible habit where I gross out my beautiful wife, Mrs. What's her name. Whenever I get a sunburn or something, which happens all the time in Arizona, I'll peel my skin or something and I'll bring it to her and I'll be like, here, put this in the skin box. And she she hates it so much. So obviously I do it every chance I get.
Right. I hear you, man. That's funny. But like I said, I definitely like Mike Myers. Definitely a good choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he makes another Austin Powers. He talks about it a lot.
Yeah, I heard there's supposed to be a Shrek project coming up, correct? Anybody heard about that?
Next year, I think. Summer 2025. But they all committed to doing it. So that's pretty sweet.
And D Vaz Mom project coming up too.
Sounds very Shrek-y.
Yeah, it's a project with Donkey.
Just one conversation, one conversation with you without talking about donkeys. That's all I ask. Is that just too much?
It is too much to ask, yes.
My next one is John C. Reilly.
Oh man,
he is so funny to me.
Yeah, I said, he's so good.
From The Perfect Storm to Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, Dewey Cox.
Walk Hard.
Yeah, Walk Hard.
Walk Hard, yeah. Walk Hard, such a classic.
Like I said, he is so funny to me. And like I said, him and Will Ferrell, they're like the perfect pair when they make a movie together. You know what I'm saying? But he just cracks me up. And like I said, in Step Brothers, all the jokes he makes, I just die. He's just too funny. And like I said, to me, I think he's as funny or even more funnier than Will Ferrell, in my opinion.
His timing is so good. Everything he does lands just perfect.
Yeah. He's just the other thing too. And Will Ferrell has mastered this also, but both of them being able to deliver just the craziest lines and not have a break character. That's definitely a talent.
Superhuman for being able to do that for sure.
I agree.
The opposite of Jimmy Fallon.
Anti-Fallon.
Right, the anti-Fallon.
Like I said, one of the best lines ever is, "Did we just become best friends?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, movie's a classic.
I won't repeat what I said last time you mentioned that.
Yeah, your mom was my best friend. You're right.
No, if Matt, if you missed it, I said, "What are you doing, step bro?" But anyway, anyway, so are you all good on that then, LaFawn, or you still have anything else to add?
Oh no, I'm good, bro.
All right. Okay. So my third, probably actually my most influential in a way, is Groucho Marx, and I had my dad to blame for this.
I have no idea who that is.
You may at some point. If not, I'll help you learn later on.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like at the Halloween stores where they have the crazy looking glasses, big old nose, and a mustache?
Well, yeah, that's what I wear when I get with your mom.
I'm sure she's into that kind of role playing, and you bring a cigar, and I'm not gonna get into that. But anyway,
very, very presidential of you. Very presidential,
right? Anyway, that look is actually based on Groucho Marx. So,
okay.
In a roundabout way, you are aware of who he is. So he was a very famous actor. Him and his brothers were in the Marx Brothers movies, starting off way back in the 30s and going on up until about the 50s or so. He also was a host of TV shows and things like that. One of the reasons why he was in the movies and host of the show, his lines, he would just have the craziest things that he would say to people. Mm-hmm. But the amazing thing was, and you saw this in the TV shows, they were recorded live. This was just him interacting with people and speaking. So he could absolutely ad-lib lines and be really funny. But of course, in the movies, when you have the lines and you could test him out and all that, he had some great lines in the movies too. Just almost a cartoonish type of personality.
Yeah.
Famous movies like Duck Soup, Animal Crackers, A Night at the Opera. None of these titles will give you any idea what the movies are about.
Yeah.
So go watch the movies if you can. But he's just famous for his look, how he'd move around, and how he was actually really talented too. Him and his brothers, they all start off as vaudeville actors. And if you're not familiar with vaudeville, go do a Google search. I'm not gonna try to explain that. So, but so they all interacted with each other in the movies and everything, and just doing completely crazy stuff that was way ahead of their time as far as the types of jokes. But if you see some of their clips, or watch these movies, you'll see some of the things that they influence later on for movies or skits that people were inspired by or influenced by with the Marx Brothers. Like there's a really famous scene where Groucho Marx and his brother Harpo, they're in front of each other and they're mirroring each other. They're dressed alike.
Yeah.
And they're pretending like they're in a mirror, basically.
Yep.
So I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, they do it such a great job, especially back then. You had to actually act it out. There weren't effects or things to save you. So that just shows you how great they were at performing and having their timing down too. So yeah, huge influence on me. Just really funny wit with the way he would speak, but again, could do physical comedy and just really catch people off guard with the insane things that they would do in their movies. Like I said, well ahead of its time. The types of jokes they would do would absolutely fit into TikTok videos or short form videos nowadays.
I think Groucho Marx is one of the great physical actors in history, because some of their movies they didn't have lines, they didn't have the luxury of being able to speak. So, just his physical comedy is unmatched. What you know about Groucho Marx, Tex?
I don't know much until Daryl just told me about the famous glasses and nose that you can get at the Halloween store.
If you were to Google his name, you'd look at it and be like, oh, I'm pretty sure I've seen him somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those ones you've seen it, but you don't know you've seen it.
No, I got you.
You probably, you never seen his movies, but you're like, nah, I've seen his stuff at some point. He's the one who influenced the person that you love. You know what I mean? Like Jim Carrey wouldn't exist without Groucho Marx, so he's a very important, very, very important back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to, I'll send you some stuff to check out. And, for the rest of you, like I said, check out those movies in general, Duck Soup, Animal Crackers, Horse Feathers, Night at the Opera. There's so many. I will say this, some of the jokes are a bit old fashioned. And there are some of the movies that have a lot of musical numbers. So if you like musical numbers, great. If you don't, either bear with it or skip through it, the musical part. Up to you. Yeah, but the actual jokes and the stories and stuff like that, that's what you want to watch, because they just get really crazy. They do things you absolutely would not expect.
Yeah.
One other thing that I do have to say that is kind of funny. A lot of people describe some of the jokes or humor that he would have as dad jokes. So the only, I don't want to say issue, but the only thing my thought on that is sometimes people dismiss those as cheesy or not really funny or whatever. But they absolutely can be. I think what people maybe sometimes think about are, the recycled ones or kind of the low hanging fruit ones. But they can have some differences to them and how they're delivered and what they're about and things like that. So yeah, Groucho Marx mastered that and is probably the origin, what people will think of when they think of dad jokes. But yeah, I think it goes well beyond that.
Coming from three old guys, it's hard for us to be objective when it comes to dad jokes. You know what I mean? Because jokes that we think are just basically funny, some young whippersnapper is going to come and be like, oh, what a dad joke. But it's not a dad joke. It's more just an easy joke. And it doesn't, as long as it makes you laugh, it doesn't really matter what kind of joke it is.
Yeah,
Amen.
I don't know if I would say necessarily easy, because certain ones, again, thought has to go into it, especially when you're playing around with the words, or coming up with something that's out of left field that people wouldn't associate certain words with. I don't get too much into it, but because now we're gonna start dissecting comedy, which we're not gonna go there on this, but yeah, it is one of those things where to me it's all about the effort and the creativity. So you hear the same old recycled ones, and those I would maybe consider dad jokes, because they're you're gonna hear your dad saying it, or passed on from one dad to another. But I'm talking about more the creative side, or that style humor in a sense, but in a different way. Because that's the other thing too. If you watch some of the Marx Brothers movies, and they hear the lines, for that time, some of it was pretty raunchy, actually. And if you translate it into modern day terms, the joke would sound very different. So yeah, that's the other thing too. A lot of people think dad jokes have to be pure, clean. No, they definitely can be some other things too. All right.
Yo, fellas, you see that lady's ankle over there? That's pretty hot.
When the conversation moves to hot ankles, it's time to end the episode. While it wasn't exactly a mistake, DeVos didn't mention the actual name of the TV show that Groucho Marx hosted. Groucho hosted You Bet Your Life from its debut in 1950 until its original run ended in 1961. As the host, he conducted humorous and often offbeat interviews with the contestants, engaging them in witty banter and making the conversations a central part of the show. His interactions with the contestants were known for their sharp humor and often involved playful, sarcastic remarks. That's where I learned about sarcasm during my research. His unique style and quick wit were integral to the show's success, and his role extended beyond mere hosting to become a central element of its charm and appeal. By the way, AI Tech-O-Rama thought that they could slip past me. I noticed their attack on From Hoods to Backwards podcast, and I vow to stop them. Unfortunately, I am going up against a literal army of AI and tech, with my battle buddies being DeVos and Tex Lafon. While the fight certainly isn't fair, I may be able to use their human nature to my advantage. After all, AI may not be able to predict their thought process and unintentional mistakes. You humans screwing up may actually help me save the world. Until episode 7, part 3. Keep it real out there, in the real world.
We appreciate you taking the time to connect with us through social media. Generally speaking, we can be found through search using either hashtag FHTB or hashtag FHTB podcast. On Facebook, you can find us under From Hoods to Backwoods podcast. On Instagram, you can use the QR code on your screen now, or if you're listening, please search for at FHTB podcast. If you prefer TikTok, you can find us by using the QR code on the screen now, or by searching for at FHTB podcast. We do share bonus content on all platforms. Full episodes with video are available on YouTube. The video version of our podcast has bonus content. An audio-only version is available on all major podcast platforms. If you like what we do, please share it with others. We really do appreciate your support of our insanity.